Hey everyone, welcome to For Your Entertainment, where I, Blake, or as I like to call myself, the Banshee, first episodes first. That's what it's called, the first episode. Well, I'm going to talk to you about this. Now this here is a little graphic novel. It's not little, it's actually quite big. It's called Daytripper by Fabio Moon and Gabriel Ba. Now you might be wondering, Blake, why are you talking to us about Daytripper? Let me tell you why I'm talking about Daytripper. Daytripper is my Bible. That's how good it is. Now I've read about hundreds of comics, roughly graphic novels, but I've read a lot of them. Nothing, in my opinion, comes close to Daytripper. Now you might be thinking, oh my gosh, Blake, what's Daytripper about? What comic book character is it? You know, like what's superhero? It's not even about a superhero. There are no superheroes in this story. This is about life and death. How death is always going to be part of your life. Now, the story follows Ba. Hold on, let me pronounce his name correctly. It's Bra de Olivia Domingos. Bra de Olivia Domingos. It's Brazilian. Story follows him from a young. It's one of those stories where it jumps around his age, you know, whatever. But he starts off as a obituary writer. Yeah, that time. It's where you write something after someone passes. So he's having his career of that. But it keeps jumping to parts in his life where he has very, very important moments. His first kiss, his first, real love, the first time he met his future wife, when his father died, when he had his first kid. It keeps cutting to all these moments, but at the end of each moment, there's a what-if scenario of what if he died at that moment. So when he's like a little kid, right after his first kiss, this is going to spoil a little chapter for you, but I'm not going to try to spoil most of it, I'll just spoil this one chapter. He's a little kid, he's at his grandparents' house, and he kisses his cousin's friend, and he's like 5. So then he comes back from his grandparents' house, the place that he absolutely loved, and he felt so full of life and just full of everything, like endless possibilities were in front of him. He walks outside with his kite. Kite gets stuck in an electrical wire and he gets electrocuted and died. But at the end of that chapter, there's a little obituary of what it says about him at that time. Let me see if I can find that. I'm not going to read that. I think that might be against some laws. But like I said, this book is like a Bible to me. You want to know why? Because this book right here talks about love, aspects and perspectives in love and life. For instance, he's talking to a painter, or he talks about a painter who named every painting he did Lola, and it's a painting of a woman. 50 paintings go by, each one called Lola. Each one's definitely a different woman. And Bra Domingos, whatever you want to call him, talks about, are they all called Lola because that's the one woman who left the impact on his life? And he talks about this right after his first love and him break up. So it talks about how everything happens for a reason. And there's actually one chapter in this that's probably the most gut-wrenching chapter, is when his best friend's on a plane crashes. And his career launches off in the weirdest, saddest way ever, because he has to write the obituary. So he writes to every single family member, and he tries to get every single family member's story of what they loved about the person who just passed. The whole time he's trying to cope with the fact that his best friend may have died, because he's calling his best friend's not answering, but he doesn't know if his best friend was on the plane or not. So he's just trying to figure out hey man, what's going on? Are you alive or are you dead? He's freaking out. He doesn't know what to do. It's probably the best chapter. But from there, his career goes crazy because people start listening to him. They actually find out he's a great writer, and he actually becomes a writer, following his father's footsteps. Him and his father had this very strange relationship, but his father, they pretty much followed the same things. Writers smoked the same cigarettes, did pretty much everything the same. They were a pretty unique family. I highly recommend Daytripper. If you're just getting into comics, just getting into graphic novels, or if you're tired of the same superhero cut and dry nonsense, Daytripper is by far the greatest book of literature I've ever read. I've read tons of Stephen King. I'm reading Brent Weeks. I've read parts of Game of Thrones books. I've read tons of comic books, tons of graphic novels, and then the artwork. Let me show you some of this artwork. This is awkward now because now I have to find a good picture of, a good, really good. Bam! Look at that. You see that? That's great stuff. Look, I can open to any page. Great stuff. Gabriel Ba is also one of my favorite writers. Sorry, artists. Fabio Moon's the writer, Gabriel Ba's the artist. I actually have some of Gabriel Ba's artwork on my arm. It's kind of hidden right now underneath this bracer I'm wearing, but it's actually... Oh, this is going to be kind of tiny. But it's actually that image right there is on my arm. I gotta get it touched up, and I actually want to get this whole part added to my arm as well. So this is the cover. Right here you have Domingos, Olivia Domingos, his lucky dog, I don't remember the name. And right here you can see his typewriter, symbolizing that he's a writer. Coffee, because him and his dad say the same coffee. Lights, candles, everything in this is symbolic and a metaphor, and it's amazing. Trying to find another great picture. Literally, if you open this, oh man, just look at that. Look at that. It's great stuff. It is. It's constantly. And another thing that it talks about is that every little moment does add up to the end. Like, there's a part after him and his first love break up, and he's trash. He's just, oh god, he's devastated. He thinks this is the end. No one's ever gonna happen. But then he goes to a store. Who is that pretty girl across the way? They lock eyes. That's when he meets his future wife. So it's like every little moment, you just have to be aware and open to them. It blows my mind how great this book is. I read it constantly. When I went to Hawaii, Daytripper came with me. I read it. One part that I keep with me through everything I go through, it's a part where he meets the first love of his life. And he's asking her, what do you do? And she goes, what do you mean? He goes, what do you do for like a job? And she goes, why do you want to know? And he's like, because I want to get to know you. She flat out tells him, I can tell you what I do for a job, but that tells you literally nothing about me. Because she says, I have jobs to make money to help my mom. But that doesn't tell you anything about me. That doesn't tell you my goals, my ambitions, my likes, my dislikes, anything like that. And she goes, take a look at your friend Jorge there. Jorge's over there taking pictures. She goes, he takes pictures, but of certain things. He doesn't just, do like a tourist, like, pretty camel, take a picture. He takes pictures to capture certain moments because that's what he loves to do. There's a part in the book where Jorge can't take a picture because he's like, a picture cannot capture this moment. A picture's too small for the great thing that's happening in front of us. So she talks about how no matter what your career is or job, that doesn't define you. It's just something you're doing for reasons that you just might need the money. But she talks about how following someone's like certain things that they're doing, like Jorge taking pictures, that's his life. That's what he loves. And Jorge is actually the photographer at the newspaper place that gave, God damn it, Domingos works. It's a fantastic book. It's only that thick, super easy read. The artwork, so colorful and beautiful. If you're not familiar with Gabriel Ba, he's also done the Casanova series. He's done the Umbrella Academy, which is I'm probably going to talk about in another video. But fantastic book, fantastic art, fantastic writing. I highly recommend it to anyone who wants to read. And even if you're not into like that much into comic books or graphic novels, it's still a great book through and through. So I recommend it. Stay tuned for another episode of For Your Entertainment, where I tell you more stuff that you should read, watch, or listen to be entertained. Stay tuned.